Well, hi everybody. Welcome to another one of my videos. Well, this is another one where I'm going to show you how to upgrade some technology. I have this Gateway laptop here that I purchased a few years back when I was in my MBA program. And I wanted to be able to do the online tutorial classes that were being held by the school from the hotel room. Unfortunately, the hotel computer did not support that well. This was being sold at Target across the street in a mall, so I went ahead and purchased it. It served me well. It only cost about, I think, just under $300. For purposes of that, and for some other presentations that I've done when I want to travel light to go and do a presentation, this is all related to my daytime job, I was able to use this successfully without any problems at all. I want to upgrade this laptop to Windows 10. Now this is Windows 8.1 right now, so I will get the free upgrade. I believe the free upgrade for the Windows 8 will actually go on for maybe another 3 years, since Windows 8.1 is still supported by Microsoft, so that's a good deal. The only problem I have with this is there's not enough memory in it, and I'll show you how I determined whether or not I could upgrade it or not. This is the extra memory that I bought, and it'll be replacing 2 gig memory SIM with this 4 gig memory SIM, and Windows 10 should run much better with this. Again, I'm not going to do anything heavy with this laptop going forward, so for purposes of just doing presentations, it should be just fine. Anyway, let's get started. I need to actually create, unfortunately, a DVD in order to install Windows 10 on this laptop. It just does not support booting from a USB. So I am in the Windows download for Windows 10 from Microsoft. I have to run the download tool. I have to give it permission to run as administrator. And now it's going to make sure that my system can support Windows 10. Even though I'm not going to load it on this system, it still checks the system that I'm on. So now it's asking me to accept the agreement with Microsoft, which I do. It's preparing to create whatever media it is that I want to install the Windows 10 image on. In this case, it will be a DVD, and I have a blank DVD already installed. I want to create installation media, USB, DVD, ISO, etc. I unclick this because I have to do a 32-bit, not the current machine that it just tested, which is 64-bit. So I'm going to change it to 32. The rest of it's the same. Next, I wanted to create the ISO file, and I'll need to then burn that onto my DVD afterwards. So let me do next. I'm going to go ahead and save it in my temp area. The ISO file will save in my scratch area in my E drive. It's verifying the download at this point. It copied pretty fast because that's an SSD drive it's going to. Jumping leaps and bounds there until now. There we go. It's all finished creating the ISO image. So now I have to open up that ISO image. So I'll go to my drive that this is stored on, scratch, and I have the Windows ISO image here, named Windows. Double click on that. Now it's loading my software that's used to create DVDs, and I will go ahead and burn it. Power to Go is software that came with my DVD read-write drive that I have on this PC. Then I gotta click burn. When you do the USB drive, it doesn't have to do it in 2 separate steps like this. It automatically flows from one step to the next. It downloads it to a temp area, and then it automatically writes it to the USB stick that you have specified. Okay, it's getting close. It's almost done at this point. Okay, all done. I can close it, and it automatically ejects. Okay, now we're looking at the actual screen of this laptop booted up. First thing I want to do is do a couple of tests. I want to find out what I can do with this laptop in terms of making it better. So what I have here is Crucial's website. That's www.crucial.com. So we come into the Crucial website. what we'll see is this screen, and I'm going to run the scanner to find out what's compatible in terms of solid state drives and DRAM upgrade. I have to click on this I agree to the term, and then I have to say scan computer. It is asking me to, if I want to save the file, which I need to do, so I'll say save the file. Now I come in here and I go to the files that have been saved in Firefox, and here is the saved file, crucial.exe. I click on that, execute it. It wants to know if I can allow it to run as an administrator. I say yes, and now it's going to scan the computer. This could take a few minutes to complete. So now it's completed. It's identified my computer as a Gateway LT41P, and it's identified some upgrades. Let's see what it has. It says for memory, there is one slot in this computer, and it has a maximum capacity of 4 gigabytes, and currently all I have in it is 2 gigabytes. So I'm going to have to buy a whole new module to replace that and get it up to 4 gigabytes, which is, in my mind, that would be the absolute minimum for Windows 10. It also says I could upgrade the storage. It has a 13% filled hard drive, a SATA hard drive, and I could actually upgrade that, probably to an SSD. Let's see what they recommend. Well, here's the memory module they recommend, of course, their product, Crucial 4 gigabyte DDR3, 1600 megahertz. And then, of course, they're recommending an SSD, as I suspected, and of course, it is also Crucial's SSD. I'm going to hold off on upgrading the SSD at this point, and when I do it, I'll probably get a 250. I think currently it has in it something more than that. It says it has 281 free, so that's like a 300 gigabyte regular spinning hard drive that's in there right now. But for purposes of Windows 10, I don't need to touch that. So this tells me what I need to do for the memory. Now let me close this and go to Belarc Advisor. I've mentioned this in a previous video. It allows us to check for the licenses that are installed on this computer. As I recall, the only licenses I could have are the license for Windows 8.1, which came with this laptop, and also a license for Microsoft Office 2010, which I did use when I first got this. I used one of my licenses. So I expect to see those two, but let's see what else I see. You can download the Belarc Advisor here, download a free copy of Belarc Advisor. I've already got it downloaded though, so let me go to that. Let me go to my network drive, and I want to go to drive S, which is my system drive, my install area, and here somewhere I have Belarc Advisor. Here it is. I have the directory saying PC licensing and config summary. If I go into there, what do I have? I have the Belarc Advisor. I already downloaded it. As I recall, it was zipped, so I had to unzip it, and it created this folder. Go in there. Now this is going to have to install. So let me run the Belarc Advisor installer. It again wants to be the administrator, and it's going to initialize it and install it. I have to agree to the terms, and I have to install. As I recall, it automatically runs as soon as it's completed installing. I did mention this in a previous video, but I didn't demonstrate it, so this is the demonstration. I don't want to upgrade Belarc Advisor. Let me just say yes. No, I don't want that. I'm just going to run it as is. That's probably when I last downloaded it, but that's okay. It's now going to run it. It's doing an analysis of the system. When it talks about analyzing the local network, I'm going to tell it no, because what it does is searches my whole network. My local network is all it can see, and it'll identify all of the different devices that are out there, and I don't want it to do that. So as soon as it says that it's starting that, I will cancel that. It's checking for missing security patches and updates. I'll let it go through that. I'll only stop it when it gets to the network. Skipping the network step here. So this will take forever, first of all. Then it identifies something I don't need to know. And there we go. It has completed its analysis. So if I scroll down on this, I will see where my licenses are. They're sort of hidden, so we have to be careful to identify them properly. It's here in a section called Manage All Your Software Licenses. So if we look here, I have a license for Windows 8.1. And over here is the key, which I'm going to have blocked out, unfortunately, for YouTube. And it also has my Microsoft Office Professional Plus, which also I have the key here that I'll have blocked out. And then it also has some other stuff that came with it, like the Office Home and Student 2013, which I never really used, and I think I actually deinstalled most of it, but I guess I didn't take it all out. So I need these licenses, and what I do is I will do a copy paste of this information here and save it, because you never know when I go to install Windows 10 whether or not it has lost the key to my Windows 8.1. So I need to get that key out of here, and that's the 25 character key that's displayed to the right of that. So with that, I can go ahead next and I'll get the memory that I want to get, and I'll install that memory before installing Windows 10. Okay, the first thing we have to do is change the memory. And to change the memory, I've got to get to it. It's a little bit tricky on these gateways. You have to actually remove the keyboard first. So you actually need a sharp tool, like a knife. And there are 3 little tabs that exist here. So right here at the top of the keyboard, kind of hard to see. You've got to really get in there with like a flashlight to see it. There are little tabs that are across the top of the keys, right above the function keys. And you've got to get yourself down in there in order to get to those tabs. So what I'll do here is get this knife down in here. And you've got to sort of now don't be careful about the tops of the actual keys, because it will actually, if you're not careful, you'll get to those too. So you got to sort of pry it up. Once you got one end up, you can sort of get underneath it. It's a little bit flexible. Get yourself up underneath the keyboard. And we have to go to the next one. There, and then there's like 3 of them there. There we go. And then once it's up, I suggest you don't remove this ribbon cable. I've done that, and it's very difficult to get it back in there. It has a locking thing to it. We can get to what we have to unscrew without taking the keyboard completely out. And what we need to do is there are some of these screws that are labeled as door. So anyone that says door, and I believe there's like 5 or 6 of them. I see 3 of them right here. You take those, not the ones that say just regular M2, because that's the type of screw it is. The ones that say door M2. So we remove these screws. Okay, that's that one. Now, let's see where the other 2 or 3 are. So down the bottom here, I see, this is a door release. I'll show you that in a moment. But this one says door. This one says door. That one does not say door. So let's try just those 5 for now. Let me get these last 2 out. We'll find out soon enough if that's all of them. I'm sure I'd see them clearer if I took the keyboard out, but believe me, I've taken one of those out before, and it is not trivial to get that cable back on. Let's just get it out this way for now. 5 screws out. The keyboard is still attached. Let me now push down on this thing that says door latch or door release. So I push down on this, it should pop the door off the bottom. And I feel it coming out on my fingers on the bottom. So let me put this back here. I will close this for now, turn it over, and see if I can get the whole back cover off. And there we go. Now what I should have done, and I apologize for not doing that sooner, now that I see it, I should have taken the battery out first. So let me get the battery out so it doesn't come on accidentally with me. There we go. So now it can't come on accidentally. This is the memory module right here that I need to take out. So if you look, there are little tabs here along the side. One on each side here, one here and one here. So if I take my fingers and sort of pull on those tabs, they should just sort of pop out. Push away from the module. This one here, push away. There we go. Popped out now. So this is the existing 2 GB memory that I'm taking out. And I'm going to replace it with a 4 GB module, which is right here from Patriot. Now, just like memory on a desktop, you got to be careful of the notch and make sure that the notch is in the right position. So I'm looking at the old one here. You got to tilt these up like this and go in it at like an angle of about 30 degrees. Push it all the way in, sort of like putting a M2 drive in, and then you push down until it locks in place. And now we should have 4 GB of memory on this laptop. Let's get it back together. First thing is the back. Put that in here like this. Push down a little bit because it sort of has little snappers on the sides and in the back. So make sure you push it down so that it locks in place. Snap it in place. Like to hear those clicks. and I don't have a gap there. Let me turn it back over again, and let me put the keyboard back in place. Now, the fact that I didn't remove the keyboard is going to save me a little bit of time. Just got to be careful with it not to break that cable. So I got to put it up this way first to get to these first 2 screws. So I'll put them in. Go back the other way. Keyboard. Again, be careful not to pull it out of its socket there. And I have 3 more here. I'm not going to overly tighten those. I'm going to try to get this back. Now you remember, this, if you look carefully, these have the 5 notches in the bottom. They have to go in first. So we push those in first, and then we should be able to just have to snap down until all the top snaps go in. Let me get the battery back in. Here we go. Now let's see if we didn't break it. I'll come in here, power it on. I see lights coming on. I see a light on the screen. I see gateway. I see how much memory we got when it comes up. It's a good sign, because if it didn't have any memory at all, which is what my fear is, if it didn't connect properly, then we shouldn't see anything. Windows 8 usually takes a while. I've been using this laptop for a while, especially with a mechanical hard drive still in here. Please wait, and boom, we're in the screen. Let me log in. Take it off camera for a second while I type in my password. And it's logging in. Then let me check how much memory we got once it's up. Right click on this PC, look at properties. What do we got? 4 gigabytes, 4.00 gigabyte, 2.84 usable. That the system is not automatically allocating to something. So it looks pretty good. Let me shut it down, and then I'm going to install Windows 10. Well, everyone, that completes the first part of this upgrade to Windows 10. Because of the editing and the actual length of this first video, I am once again forced to split it into 2. I do apologize for that. The next one will be up in just a couple of days, I promise. Anyway, if you got anything out of this video that you found helpful or enjoyable in any way, please do me a favor and subscribe to my channel. Just click on the little head that'll pop up here. Follow along, and it'll really help this channel grow and produce better quality videos going forward. Thanks for watching.